say to me, not sure you keep good company. Let me explain the way it started when two comets come into contact and parted. Stuck in your mind from the last time it was started. A grayscale or a fine line so you were guarded. Now it's time to buy the vibe started to amplify, not simplify. They said we'd never get it. They said we'd never win. They said we'd never get it. Never doubt me. There's one lesson left to learn. Accept no less than you deserve. Circle of hate you inspired. Self-hate desire makes you a liar. It's not like you've been wrong. No question you're that strong. No words can never hold you down. They said we'd never get it. They said we'd never win. They said we'd never get it. Never doubt me. They said we'd never get it. They said we'd never win. They said we'd never get it. Never doubt me. It's all a lie. You feel this fight. That's just more fuel for you. Don't lose your mind. It's worth your strife. Take hold. It's all for you. They said we'd never get it. They said we'd never win. They said we'd never get it. Never doubt me. They said we'd never get it. They said we'd never win. They said we'd never get it. Never, never doubt me. Never, never doubt me.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Spotter Stand. Coming at you live this week from Kansas. We're going to go over what's coming up this coming up week and all the racing action we had at Dover last week. Give you guys an update on the points, bonus points, and everything that's been going on since we saw you last Tuesday here on the Spotter Stand. Once again, BSR Pockets, BSR Hot Rod with us in the booth. I believe we've got Eli 114 special guest, and we may get a visit from Jim Windrow later on in this season. How you guys doing?
What's up, everybody? Doing great. What about you?
Doing good, doing good. It's gonna be a pretty good show this week. Had some great racing at Dover last week, man. A lot of exciting racing. Had some green flag pit stops and I'm not sure about every night's race, but I know in a couple of them we had green flag pit stops Wednesday night, Friday night. I can't remember Thursday night. I think Thursday night was a little bit of a rough race, but it was some great racing last week. We got some more new winners added to some of these series, and I'm ready to get this show on the road, man. It's going to be a good show.
Man, what a great week it was last week at Dover, man. It was some fantastic racing. I like Dover, the Concrete Canyon.
Could you guys want to put a link up there for me for the site on YouTube, please?
Yeah, give me 1 second here. I'll pop a link in here for you.
Come on, Eli, get with the program.
I'm sorry, Paul.
There you
I
go.
just posted 6 links.
There's
Where
your,
are you?
there's
Don't
your
you
link.
have Facebook?
Yeah, I didn't check that. Well, I will.
There's a link right there in the bottom of TeamSpeak, Eli. Don't forget to mute the sound while you're in here. You've got a little bit of a delay on YouTube, so. Well, let's get right into this week's action. I've got one pick to share with you guys. We got a picture sent in from Vince Conway. A couple of bags of beef jerky, Junkin cow jerky. Looks like he's got original, my flavor, and a bag of beer bacon there. That's one of the all-time favorites, beer bacon. Great tasting jerky. Look at that. Is that a Bomb Squad Racing t-shirt I see hanging right there as well? Man, that's awesome. And it's got his 3 monitors set up right there behind him. Thanks for sending this pic in, Vince. We really appreciate it, man. It looks like a great racing setup you got going on there. And I've got one of those t-shirts myself, man. I know you love that thing because I love mine.
Man, and that took. I tell you, he took the time to do that up right. I mean, look at that. Obviously, he either had to get someone to take his picture or he set it up. He's got the monitor, the screensaver set up. Got his Bomb Squad Racing shirt out there. Got his Drunken Cow jerky bags. And look, both of those bags are open. You never hardly see anyone take a picture of a full bag. They've always been open. So that right there will tell you as soon as it gets out of the mailbox, they're on it. So thanks a lot, Vince. That's a great picture. That's fabulous. They put a lot of effort and thought into that, and I really appreciate that. That right there will tell you the kind of caliber person that my buddy Vince Conway is. A great guy.
Is that Vince or is this Jim? Because I see the 12 truck there. That's right. Vince is the 12. Yeah, that's right. We were just discussing that earlier.
We let Jim Windrow slide in with the 12 because Vince was out of town.
That's right. That's right.
That's all about.
Let's move on to the racing action. We're going to start off with Wednesday night. As usual, the Truck Series ran at Dover this last Wednesday. And as I mentioned earlier, it was a great race at Dover. We did have at least one green flag pit stop. And I believe we can go, close to 60 laps, well over 50 laps on a fuel run. So having a green flag stop here meant some good long runs. This was a great race. The trucks, the CTS physics always produce a lot of good, close racing action, and this was no exception. We had a great race at Dover. This week at Dover, it was myself, BSR Texan, who managed to bring home the victory at Dover. That's my second win this season in the Truck Series. So we've got another repeat winner. As we've been talking about all season long here, we haven't had a lot of repeat winners in any of these series. We've been, just about every week we've had a new winner. But once again, we got another repeat. That's my second win in the Truck Series this season. And man, that was a great race. I had a great truck. I was able to lead a lot of laps, stay out in the front, and I really, of course, when you win the race, how can you not enjoy it? I enjoyed that race, and that was a lot of fun, man. Great racing.
Sure was. Congratulations. What about our top 5 there?
Yeah, let's take a look here at the race results from Dover in the Truck Series.
Yes, good win, Texan. You were the last act on with the truck. Mayhem.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, he was. He had everybody. He had everybody covered on Wednesday night.
He did.
Mayhem second, Terry Scott third, Pocket Scott fourth, and Hot Rod rounds out top 5.
Pockets and Hot Rod in the top 5. How did that happen, Larry?
Yeah, and I actually, you should have. I should have finished ahead of you. I bit myself in the toe or something. I don't remember, but I know I did something wrong, and you got by me there.
Well,
Actually, Barry had even gotten by me, and I ended up getting him back because I had to let him go. He had a run on me. I had to let him go, and then I ran out of laps to get back to you.
the strategy that I applied Wednesday night failed miserably on Thursday and Friday, but I did lay back, saved tires, was able to stay out when the majority of the field pitted. And just when the caution needed to fall, it fell. And I went from the back, restarted fourth, and was able to hang on and maintain that fourth place position. Now, I had to drive hard to keep that fourth place.
No,
But-
I restarted in fifth, and if I remember right, you restarted in sixth.
Was I in sixth? So I did.
Yes.
I think Barry must have had some trouble or something. But anyway, I remember that was
No, Barry was behind us. I don't remember who
Okay.
was in front of us. Somebody was in front of us, and they got real loose, and we got around them. And when we did, I pushed the corner a little bit, and you got to run under me, and I let you go because my truck wasn't good on the restarts. It needed some laps. And
Ooh, mine did too.
and that's how Barry got by me. And then Barry got by me, and then I knew I had enough laps to get him, but I needed a couple more laps to get you or to even get any further. So I just didn't have enough.
Well, I did get an opportunity to see the 201 of BSR Texan who went on to win the race. So congratulations, Texan. I got to see a glimpse of your truck there for
Thank you.
just a few minutes.
Thank you very much. You actually, you finished in fourth, but only 1.47 seconds back. So not very far back at the end of the race. You did manage to lead a lap. And speaking of laps led, look at that. I led 105 laps out of the race total. What was the total laps?
160 laps.
160.
Yes.
So yeah, I led 105 of 160. Definitely had a great truck that race. Quite a few other people. Looks like about half the field managed to lead a lap. Steve Looney led 21 of them. Great truck Steve had, yeah. And
Second most.
Mayhem also led 17. SS with 5 and a few other drivers there with 1. But yeah, close race. Great finish, great race. And, Pockets, with those good finishes you've been having here in this truck series, let's move over here and take a look at the points. Pockets holding the lead in the truck series currently with actually a pretty comfortable lead, fairly comfortable over BSR Mayhem, who moved up 3 positions to second, down by 9. BSR SS Joba dropped 1 position to third, down by 11. And we have a tie for 4th place between Monty Keller and Vince Conway, both down by 14 points. So good little ways into this truck series now. Pockets holding down a decent lead over 2nd place, and from 2nd back on to 4th, 5th, 6th, it's still pretty close back there.
Even 8. 9.
With this truck series having all these weeks off in between, it's going to go. We've got quite a ways to go, quite a few races left in this segment. So you got some work ahead of you, Pockets, coming up to Kansas this week. I know you love Kansas, though. You like Kansas, so hopefully you can pull off another good finish here and hold on to that lead.
Man, we hope so.
There's a couple, quite a few. You say there's quite a few races, but it's actually quite a few months. July is the cutoff, and the chase starts. Chase starts at Pocono. It's only about 6 races away. Not even. It's creeping up real quick in this truck series.
Yeah, 6 races, but it'll be a lot of still a few months to go, having as many off weeks as these trucks do have. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I said. It's stretched out over a pretty good time, but there's only a handful of races left, and it's going to start getting to the nitty gritty. Everybody's going to have to start getting on their toes if they want to get bonus points and that kind of stuff for this truck series.
Yes, because there's only, correct me if I'm wrong, 26 races in the Truck Series. 10 of those are in the Chase. That was race number 6, right?
23 races.
23.
Yes.
That was
there's
race number 6, right?
13 in the regular, yes. 13 in the regular season, and there is 10 in the chase.
So 7 races left to the Chase, basically. Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah, yes.
All right, well.
Plus the All-Star race that we'll be having as well.
Yes,
And
that's coming up in 2 weeks.
2 weeks to the
2 weeks to the
All-Star.
All-Star race.
now, speaking of bonus points, we haven't, since the trucks have been off, we haven't got a chance to visit the truck bonus points in a few weeks. So let's take a look at what the bonus points currently look like in the trucks. There you see it. Actually, looks like I'm the only repeat winner in this truck series so far. Everybody else just won a single race. Looks like Quack won the Daytona race. BSR Wings. Where did he get his? Oh, yeah, the Spring Texas race over there. BSR Wings got 3 bonus points for that win. Quack got 3 bonus points for his Daytona win. Pockets has got a win. Hot Rod has got a win in this truck series. And I've got 2 wins. That moved me up in the totals column over to 3 over there on the far right-hand side. So quite a few drivers, it looks like, with 3 bonus points right now in this truck series. And it looks like there's quite a few on there with 2 as well. 7 races to go before we end up with that filling up that segment 1 box down there, bottom right middle. You know, before we get there, obviously that All-Star race is going to be filled up, and that fall Texas race will be filled up too. So still some more bonus points to be handed out here in this series. And that right-hand column is going to fill up, and I have no doubt that left-hand winner race column is going to fill up a little bit too, as we've had quite a few new winners just about every week in all of these series.
That also means that this week at Kansas in the truck is the halfway point to the truck series.
Tomorrow night, Kansas in the trucks. Let's move on and take a look at Thursday night in the Cup Series. Thursday night Cup Series ran at Dover. Now this was probably the roughest race of all. It's in the Cup Series. Dover, it's tough, man. It's a tough track. It gets, I think your setup gets looser as you go on at this track. At least most setups do. So you get 10, 15 laps into a fuel run here, your truck starts to, or your car starts to get loose. It gets tough to hold on to, and you know we had quite a few little cautions in this race, which kind of helped me because, as we all remember, I was pretty late getting home. I had to start this race, I believe, 43 laps down. Managed to catch 1 wave around and a few lucky dogs. I think I finished 36 laps down, somewhere in that range, but at least I got the points for showing up anyway. And the winner this week, the dominant car in the Cup Series, was BSR Terry Scott in that number 66 Toyota. Terry had a great Cup car at Dover. I think he dominated this race, probably led the most laps. We'll see that when we get over here to the results. But great job, Terry Scott, man. Another new winner in the Cup Series. I'm pretty sure this was Terry's first win in this series, and another new winner added to the Victory Lane Club in the Cup Series. Great job, Terry.
Is that his first entrance into the Victory Lane Club? Is this his first win?
No, I believe he has
Okay,
been in the
all right.
Victory Lane Club in another series. That is his first win in the Cup Series this season.
Yeah, I already. Yep, that's right. I already gave him his passcode to get into the Victory Lane Club, so he's solidly in there.
Let's go over and take a look at the race results from the Cup Series this past Thursday night.
The top. Good job. Good win, Terry. And second is Steve Looney. Third is Magoo. Fourth is Brain Fade. And rounding out the top 5 is Poor Boy.
There's Rugrat. Stop,
Welcome,
Rugrat.
welcome, Tricia. Good to see you. Yeah, it looks like Terry Scott definitely had the dominant car, led 89 laps out of those 160. So over half the race, Terry Scott managed to lead. Momo had a good car as well, led 23 laps in that race. BSR Barry, another driver with a great car, led 17 of them. Rick Craddock, of course, always a strong car at just about every track we go to. Rick Craddock led 15 laps in that race. And you can see the attrition there. As I told you, I started the race 43 laps down, finished the race 36 laps down, but still managed to gain a few spots. I did start in last place, starting 43 laps down, but quite a few drivers had some trouble, ended up out of the race early, and I managed to move up from 20th to 14th place. So I can't complain about that. Coming in late, starting 43 laps down, taking a top 15 out of it. I'll take that any day.
Absolutely. The Cup cars there are such a challenge. The transition coming off the corner, it's where it changes from a corner to the angle of the track. It's got that little hump there, and it's really pronounced off turn 4, or turn 3, is it not? Or coming off of 2 on the backstretch. 2 is what I mean. Yes, right there.
Now that
Coming
hump,
off 2 on the backstretch.
I think you're actually right about that hump. It's right in the middle of 3 and 4. Right there is where that hump is. You hit that bump, and it will get your car sideways really quick.
Yeah, when you do 500 laps there, it's kind of easy to get lost between which one's 3 and 4 and 2 and 1 and all that. But that little hump, man, it gave me trouble all week long. I was really struggling. The setup that I had all 3 nights is just, from the past of running at Dover on a concrete track, I've got my cars set up to where they're just almost undrivable in the beginning, so that you can get that long 60 laps because of fuel. Because you do have to plan for a green flag pit stop. And some other places I've raced in and other series and stuff I've raced before, the strategy is different because you're probably not ever going to get a green flag pit stop. But here, it's a strategy that you have to keep in mind. Those long runs is what everybody's after, and we accomplish it a lot of times. So it made for some great racing. I like that Dover because no other track on the circuit is like it. It's really fun to race at.
Yeah, tough track as well. That's a tire eater. Definitely will eat the tires up, especially in this Cup Series. Let's go over and take a look at the points right now as they stand in the Cup Series. It is BSR, Terry Scott, and Rick Craddock. Look at that, a tie for the lead. Terry Scott, with that victory, moves up a spot to tie Rick Craddock for the lead. Then you've got Brain Fade, who also moved up a spot to take over 3rd place, only down by 11 points. Monty Keller sitting there in 4th, down by 16. And then it is BSR SS Joba in 5th place, down by 21. And Pockets right on his heels, right there, down by 22 in 6th. I'm sitting back by 26 currently in 7th place. We're a good little ways into this Cup Series. I believe there's only a few races left until we wind up segment 1 here. To be this far in and have a tie for the lead, that's awesome. That's close, hard racing right there.
And I don't see it doing nothing but getting closer and closer. I mean, man, if you've been watching from the beginning, these positions are changing, but they're not really changing. I mean, this guy loses 3 spots, this guy gains 2. This guy loses 1, this guy gains 3. It's just a mix. And the competition level this season seems to be a little bit more, with this package that we have, it's created some great competition in all 3 of these series. I firmly believe that we've kind of hit our groove here with the program that we've got running.
Yes, sir. And it looks like SS Joba has, for now, stolen away your top 5 bonus point there. When that segment ends, as we all know, the top 5 are going to get some bonus points for the segment. You're close. You're right there, only 1 point back. So you and SS, you're gonna have to be paying attention to where he's at in these next few races to try to get yourself back up into that top 5. SS, tough guy to beat.
That 56 car, you always pay attention to where the 56 car is. You even stop and watch his hauler pull in the parking lot because just see where he's going to be, just in case. You know what I mean?
Well, let's take a look at the bonus points in the Cup. Pockets, I believe you're doing pretty well here in this respect. Terry Scott with that victory. That was his first victory in the Cup Series. Look, we've got quite a list of drivers over there. Rick Craddock, the only driver to repeat in this series with 3 victories so far this season. Terry has been having to have some good races, or Rick maybe a little bad luck in one of those, for those two to be tied, with Rick Craddock having 3 wins versus Terry Scott's 1. But if you look over there, no, I thought it was Pockets. It's that must be the Xfinity Series, Pockets. But you're not doing bad here with 3 bonus points. Momo still holding down that top spot in this Cup Series. Been there at 4 points ever since we left Daytona. And nobody has been able to shake him off of that top spot there in the bonus points so far. Quite a few drivers in there with 3 bonus points. But Momo, you're still holding on up there, man, with 4 points. Doing a good job here so far this season. That'll show you how these special events and these extra bonus point races will really pay off. Momo did a great job. He got himself a bonus point in the AK Daytona race. Got himself another bonus point in the Daytona season opener. Picked himself up 2 bonus points by winning the shootout this year. So, those special events and these extra bonus points, they will pay off in the end. And when it comes down to the chase, 1 point could make the difference in that last 10 races. So, Momo doing everything he can. As we talked about earlier, the All-Star race coming up. So some more bonus points to be given away there. I'm pretty sure Momo runs pretty well at Charlotte. So I would expect to see him earning at least 1, maybe 2, or even 3 bonus points at that All-Star race. And we will have segment 1 finishing up pretty soon and some more bonus points handed out. So great job, Momo. Congrats holding down that top spot for so long, ever since Daytona. A few more weeks to go of racing before we finish segment 1. We'll see where everybody stands. Like I said, a lot more names going to be added to that total bonus point column when we finish segment 1, because everybody's going to get their attendance points. So if you haven't won a race, if you haven't made any points in any of these special races, you're going to get your attendance points. You'll be added over there in that total column. We can see where everybody stands halfway through the season, or halfway through the races before the chase anyway.
Only 2 races left in the Cup Series and the All-Star race.
So it's 2 and
The All-Star race for the
So-
Cup.
okay.
Hot off
I
the
got you.
press. Hot off the press. Xfinity does not race this week at Kansas.
No, Xfinity
that's
will be off.
Disappointing. That is
Xfinity off until
disappointing.
Charlotte. I believe a couple of weeks off for the Xfinity series. And
1 for us.
yeah,
1 week off for us.
it's hard to believe we're this far into the season already with only 2 races left out of 13 in the first segment of the Cup. So that means we're already 11 races into this Cup series. Only 1 race left in the Xfinity before segment 1 ends. So we're
One
almost,
race, One race and the All-Star race.
almost halfway through the regular season already.
Crazy, isn't it?
Time is flying. This season is just shooting right on by.
That's what I was alluding to when we were going over the trucks. Next thing you know, it's only the date. When we hit Daytona, the trucks is going in chase, basically.
Well, let's move on. Take a look at Friday night. All 3 series this week did run at Dover. Friday night, the Xfinity Series ran at Dover, and we had another great race on Friday night. The Xfinity, more green flag pit stops, more great long runs, and we had another new winner, relatively newcomer to BSR. He's ran a handful of races over here, and already moving into the Victory Lane Club. It is Jim
Hang on.
Windrow.
Is he in here?
No, he is not in here.
No.
I was fixing to say maybe he's not listening to the spotter stand, and we might be able to get away without giving him a passcode to get in to the Victory
To
Lane
get
Club.
into the Victory Lane Club.
No,
I don't
get it.
think
He
Jim
earned his
Windrow's
way
gonna.
in
That's
there.
right. He's not gonna
But-
forget about this victory. I don't think.
But if he's not aware of all of the perks and all of the things that we have to offer here, like being an exclusive member of the Victory Lane Club, well, then that's kind of on him. So I haven't, but I'll take care of Jimbo. I've known Jim for many, many years. He's a great racer, and I'll tell you this: the shorter the track gets, the better he is. Thank goodness we don't go anywhere less than a half a mile, because you get on some of those little short tracks, especially in those modified cars, that guy right there is a hammer, I promise you. So,
Well, he did a great job on Friday night. He had a strong car. I know there was one point in the race where Jim was right behind me, and him and I were a few seconds back from the leaders. And this was one of the green flag runs where we had a good long run. Jim stayed right on my bumper, 1 to 2 tenths back, pretty much that whole run. And him and I managed to run down the leaders before we had our pit stop. I think we both passed the leaders, and Jim ended up passing me to take over the lead. So, Jim, great strong car, had a great race on Friday night. Congrats on that victory, Jim. Good job, man. Let's move over and take a look at the race results from Friday night's race.
Yes, good win to Jim. Texan second, Barry third, Monty Keller fourth, and Terry Scott rounds out the top 5.
Yeah, as you can see, Jim definitely with a strong car there. He did lead the most laps, led 48 laps in that race. Looks like Monty Keller, also with a strong car, led the second most with 38. I came in there with 36. And Hot Rod, man, you had a good car there too, even though you ended up with some trouble and finished, where you did back 19 laps down. You led 23 laps in that race, so you had a great car there too.
Yes, and if I wouldn't have shot myself in the foot on the last,
or chewed on your toe again?
yes,
Is that what you called it?
yes, if I would not have stepped on my toe on the last pit stop, I would have definitely finished the race anyway. I may not have won, which I don't think I would have, but I definitely would have finished the race.
I'll tell you this. First of all, I want to say they do make you can use fingernail clippers to clip your toenails. The second thing I want to say is that I could not believe how fast that 65 Teriyaki Ford Mustang was. That thing was on a rail. I just got out of his way and just stood there going, wow, because he was rolling. He had that thing hooked up Friday night.
Dover's one of my favorite tracks.
I believe we do return to Dover. I know we do in the
In
Cup,
playoffs.
and we
In
do
the
return to
playoffs.
it in at least one of the other series as well. So,
Yeah, I don't remember if it's the trucks and not the Xfinity, or if it's the Xfinity and not the trucks. I don't remember. I don't have that information right this moment, but
Well,
it is one of them.
yeah, one of them, and you will get a chance to take advantage of that setup one more time this season. Hopefully you can not have some bad luck, and you'll probably end up with, if not a victory, a top 5 in that race, I would say. So let's take a look at the bonus points here for the Xfinity series. Oh, we got to look at the points actually for this series before we go to the bonus points, don't we? Look at there. Who's at the top of the board here? I owe this to some what do we say, obligations. Steve Looney has had the lead in this series for a few weeks now, and Steve Looney, due to prior obligations, was not
Voodoo.
able to, was not able to make the race on Friday night. So with Steve missing that race, you can see he dropped back 6 places to 7th place, down by 42 points. And that allowed me to move up, take over the lead with BSR SS Joba sitting in 2nd place down by 15. Then we have a tie for 3rd between Brain Fade and Monty Keller, both back by 17. And Pockets still holding on to that top 5 position in this series, down by 20 points. Looks like you got Terry Scott right on your heels there, though, at 22.
Yeah.
Just one points race left to go. We got the All-Star race, but that won't affect your ability to get top 5 in the segment here, Pockets. You're going to have to watch out for Terry Scott at Charlotte. He's only 2 points back of you if you want to hold on to that top 5 position.
Or the car at the top of the standings could have some terrible trouble and fall back. Well, they wouldn't be.
Actually, I could. I surely could. But you're not far.
I'm looking at it from both sides of the coin here.
You're not far off of Monty Keller and Brain Fade there. Only 3 points behind both of those guys. So if you can manage to finish a few positions in front of either one of those guys, even if Terry Scott does have a great race, you can still hang on to that top 5.
Record shows when that 38 runs into Charlotte, you best be prepared for that thing to be sitting in victory lane. That's all I'm saying.
I'm knocking on wood just because you said that. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome, brother.
All right, so let's go ahead then and we'll take a look here at the bonus points. Pocket's doing exceptionally well in this series in the bonus points. Jim Windrow added to the winner race box over there with 1 bonus point. Also added over to the far right in the totals with 1 bonus point now towards his chase. And BSR Pockets dominating the board here with 6 bonus points. He's 2 bonus points ahead of SS Joba, who currently has 4. A few other drivers in there with 3 and a couple of drivers with 2. So Pocket's been doing a great job in this series, taking advantage of getting a win and these special races that are, winning Daytona, getting those 3 bonus points. That helps a ton right there. You got another bonus point from the AK Daytona race, and you got 2 bonus points in that Spring Texas race, bringing you up to a total of 6. So, great job. Awesome job here in this series so far. 6 bonus points. That's more than anybody has in any other series so far. I think Momo in the Cup with 4. 4 is the top out of any of the other series as far as bonus points anybody has managed to collect so far. So having 6, great job, man. You're doing something right.
I'm sorry. Could you say that part again where I had more points than what was that?
Yeah, you've got more bonus points in this series than anybody's managed to collect in any other series so far.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
And we do go back to Daytona in the summer here on the schedule for another special event bonus points after. That will be the last one before the chase. But we are looking forward to Charlotte. We hope to be able to do something there. There'll be a little money on the table to pocket those valuable chase bonus points that we can pocket there at Charlotte. And we're also wanting to, we're looking at Kansas this week. I mean, we're excited about Kansas. Everyone's excited about Kansas. And I tell you right now, I learned to love Kansas because of one driver, and you mentioned him earlier. That is the driver of the number 56. You better keep an eye on that cat, because if he doesn't have any trouble, he'll show you something. And Dorothy and Toto's home state there.
Yeah, BSR SS Joba, great driver, and does well at most all tracks. As we all know, he has dominated these super speedways here lately. Last season with him and Momo on the team, they dominated that series. And speaking of super speedways and the Saturday night series, let's take a little time to talk about Saturday night. This past Saturday, we did have our meet and greet race. Brand new teams were picked. We've got all 6 flavors represented. Brand new teams, meet and greet race. And who won that race? Number 56, BSR SS Joba. After the dominating season he had last season with the Reaper team, winning, 3 races out of 10? His team won, I think, 4, but SS, I believe, won 3 of them. Comes and wins the meet and greet race, season 38. So, dominant car, dominant driver. We're going to have to watch out for him and his team this season. I don't have a mock-up yet of the drivers, who's on what team. You wouldn't have to have a list of that, would you, Pockets? You got that
I
handy
would
somewhere?
not happen to have that. I do not believe.
Well, we all know which team we're on. I'm on the original team this season. I got the silver car that I was hoping to get, and I know my teammates, BSR Momo on my team, and Steve Looney also on my team. That's a
tough
yeah,
team.
we're going to have a pretty strong team this season on that original team. Pockets, you ended up on Beer Bacon again, I believe, and you've got BSR DJ on your team again for a second season in a row. And who was your third teammate?
BSR Scar. WLS Graphics
man.
BSR Scar. He is actually, I spoke to him earlier, he is actually hard to work on the drawing board, drawing up all new cars for this series. Cars and trucks. People get new trucks this time that didn't already have one. I'm pretty much get the same Beer Bacon, but that's fine. But yeah, he's working up all new cars and trucks for this series. They'll be available for download here shortly. So he's hard at work getting that all ready for this coming Saturday night's first race at Talladega. Is that right?
I don't know where we're racing at yet.
I
gotta
think
go-
it's
Talladega, Daytona.
I
It'll be
gotta
one of the
somewhere.
other.
I gotta back up from Daytona, remember? So I gotta get all that ironed out first in the scheduling department tomorrow.
Well,
10-4, Larry.
that Beer Bacon team, another strong team, season 38. So it's gonna be another season. Larry, what team did you get placed on this season?
I don't know. I only got one partner as of now, and I don't remember who it was.
So you would be on.
No, me and Randy. Me and Randy are
You and
together.
Randy.
Randy C.
You guys are either then going to be Teriyaki or Hot, because I believe those were the two teams that both got just 2 drivers and are going to have fill-in.
I believe we were on Hot, but I'm not 100% sure of that. That's why I said I wasn't sure which flavor it was.
And I believe SS this season was placed on the Ghost team, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure who his 2 teammates are this season. We'll get all that news out for you next week on the Potter's Stand.
I'm on Ghost.
You're on Ghost? Yeah, so pretty much all these teams are probably going to be good, strong teams. And yeah, we're going to be starting this coming up Saturday, Talladega, Daytona. One of those 2 tracks will be there in the Cup cars. And race number 1 of season 38. So 37 seasons behind us. That's 370 points races in this team series over the last several years. This series has been running, and great series. The way these teams are mixed up every 10 races, you get to know. That's, I've said it before and I'll say it again, that's part of what brings BSR together as a great group and a great league, is this team series. Splitting these teams up, randomly picking these teams every season, where you're going to race 10 races with two other drivers as teammates. You get different teammates each season. You get to know everybody in your league, instead of, you have your own little group of guys that you normally associate with, and everybody else is just some other guy who races in the league. I mean, you really get to know everybody pretty well. Get friendly with every single driver in your league by working with them in this team series, and that's really what has brought this league together to be as close and tight knit as it is. A great group of guys, great racers, great driving, and I mean, we have a ton of fun every week.
That Saturday night series, that thing is, it is a ton of fun, man. And I mean, the super speedway racing. I was telling somebody the other day that doesn't participate on Saturday nights, who has to race on the regular schedule. When we roll up into these super speedways, they're just like a deer in the headlights. They're like, wow. And I'm like, you see what we've been doing on Saturday night, while you've been doing whatever it is you've been doing, come to a super speedway race, you're up against the best. Those guys, man. It's the best super speedway racing there is in sim racing, as far as I'm concerned. Show me one better, and I'll stop saying that. But I ain't seen it yet. But I've seen a ton of it on Saturday night right there at Bomb Squad Racing. So there you go.
We've got one other series to talk about here this week. We were back in the Super Trucks Saturday night, late night after the meet and greet race. And this week in the Super Trucks, we raced at, what was it, GNC?
Las Vegas. Just
Yeah,
call it
Las Vegas. That was a pretty fun track, man. That was
You think?
it's kind of a long, kind of a long track. It's longer than most of the other ones that we've raced at. It's wide. You got a lot of room, a lot of space there, and I mean that track was fun. There are several places in that track where you could very easily take a corner too fast, hit a bump, roll your truck over, which happened to several drivers in that race. I know I did it. I don't think I did it during the race, but I did it several times while practicing and warming up. That track is fun, man. I had a blast on Saturday night racing that, and our victor Saturday night in the Super Trucks was the one and only Steve Looney in that number 21 Commander Board Signs of Alabama truck. Great looking truck, those flames down the side of it. Steve Looney had a great race, had a fast car, brought home the victory on Saturday night in the Super Trucks. Great job, Steve Looney.
Yes, good win, Steve Looney. Pockets in second, Texan in third, Monty Keller in fourth, and rounding out the top five is Brain Fade.
How about that last couple of laps there, Texan, between you and I? How about how much fun was that?
Something wrong with these standings? Are you guys seeing this? Do I have the wrong track up here?
No,
Yes.
the scheduling was wrong. Brain Fade put it in on the right date to make it right. So that's probably why you got the wrong one, maybe.
Gotcha. Okay, I thought I chose the most recent one, but yeah, it's showing Momo here.
Yeah, that was quite a few races ago. That's old. Yep.
Well, we'll put the picture of Steve Looney back up here while we talk about this race. Yeah, those last couple of laps, Pockets and I were literally door to door, banging off each other. Beating on each other side to side, trying to get that spot, and Pockets managed to eke it out. Took that finishing position at one spot away from me. But man, this track was fun. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of room for racing. You could take the corner in so many different ways, taking an early entry and a wide exit, or a wide entry and an early exit, and there was a lot of good racing there.
Got to throw it out to Monty though. He won that first little segment that we had and chose to go to the back to get that bonus point, and ended up getting in the top five. So, yeah, so you got to throw that out because it was tough to pass. It was tough to get around somebody there, even though, you know what I mean, there was a lot of room and stuff, but still looked like it was tough to pass.
Yeah, not easy, and when you got so many different factors in a race, you're on dirt. You got the turns where it's easy to roll over, and some of them with the hills and the jumps, and so many different factors that you got to throw in there. It's not easy to go from last to first. And Monty, I think, definitely had the dominant truck. He had that track down. I think it was worth it for him to take that bonus point and go to the back and just have the fun trying to drive his way through the field and get back up there to the front.
Go ahead.
I ran the broadcast, and I spent a lot of time on his truck, knowing that he was pretty dominant and figured that he'd come up through pretty good. and it looked to me that he was just over trying to get to the front, over driving. I think that was his biggest problem with getting back to the front.
I tell you what, that cat was fast, and he's fast at every one of those tracks, man. He's got a handle on those SST trucks, and it's a thing of beauty to watch him get around the track. Like I said, he went to the back, got the bonus point, got caught up in all the mayhem that ensued that is SST racing, and I tell you, you got to keep an eye out for that guy. He's good. Steve Looney, man, he ran a great race. That track, you have to employ finesse and aggressiveness. You got to know when to get it and when to get out of it, because that when to get out of it's probably the most important part, or you will end up upside down very quickly. And I learned that. We ran that little practice race the week before, and that helped everybody out a whole lot. And I think that was part of the reason that we had such a great race. Now, I do want to bring up something right now with Larry, since he's in here. You know, Larry, Friday night, we've just found out that we, in fact, do not have an Xfinity race at Kansas, which I'm just heartbroken about because I love Kansas. I think it may be time to bring the SST series to prime time on Friday night in that slot, since there is no scheduled race.
You have a track in mind?
The track that we were that's on the schedule, we just move it to Friday.
Okay. I don't have a track for Friday night without getting a hold of Steve, but okay.
I think he is working for it. He's working towards getting it. So, I mean, we can do that. You know what I mean?
No, there's tracks that we had talked about, but I don't remember what order. So I don't know what track was scheduled. I think it was Toronto. I'm pretty sure is what was going to be next on the schedule, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So
yes, and we do have a couple of nights here that we can talk to everybody and see how that's going to go, because that might be the thing to do on Friday night, and then that way we'll have Saturday night free after the team series race.
Yeah, so everybody, just keep your eyes posted on Facebook. I'm sure there will be a post and some heads up before that to let everybody know, hey, this is going to be moved to Friday night. So just keep your heads up, keep your eye out on Facebook, and watch for a post to see what's going to be going on if that SST series will be moved this week to Friday, possibly even next week, because I believe the Xfinity series is going to be off for the next couple of weeks. It is the
no.
Oh, the All-Star race the week after that.
Yes, and it's back to racing.
Gotcha. Well, let's take a look here at the points in this SST series so far. It is BSR Brain Fade at the top of the board here, being the most consistent, finishing up there regularly in the top 5 in this series. Monty Keller moves up a spot to take over second, down by 5. Steve Looney right there in third place, down by 7. Look at that, BSR Pockets in fourth, only down by 10 points. And myself, BSR Texan, rounding out the top 5, down by 22. Pretty close up there between those top 4. 0 to 10. 5 back to Monty, 7 back to Steve, 10 back to Pockets. That's some pretty close racing there. And a lot of fun. This series has been a great what's the word I'm looking for? It's something different, something, it adds a little bit of something none of us have ever done before, with the dirt racing and the jumps. This has been a great series, a lot of fun to run in.
Absolutely. And I have been assured by Steve Looney that he does have some great things on the way for that series. He's working on some tracks. These are custom-made built tracks, and he is working on those, and we will see those coming up in the SST series. And Jim Windrow, you're way too late. Your window of opportunity for your interview has passed.
Hey,
Now,
hey.
we've got BSR SS
apologize, I
Joba.
had to go.
Well, I mean, we get you scheduled in here, and then you leave, and then you come back right about the time we're almost done.
Well, I had to go win a modified race because
That's understandable. That's understandable.
So welcome, Jim. Welcome, SS. We're glad you could join us here. Even
Guys,
if-
I just want to say I'm feeling the love. I've been listening to the broadcast, and I'm feeling the love from you guys. I appreciate the kind words.
hey, we got to tell it how it is, man. We got to tell it how it is, and there ain't no holding back that number 56 car. You've been doing a great job here lately. Yeah, it's great to see you back on the track as much as we have lately. We kind of missed you toward the end of last season. You didn't get to race with us a whole lot, and you've been at pretty much every race so far this year, and doing a great job. It's good to see you and have you back on the track, even if you are kicking our ass all the time.
I don't know about kicking ass, but we're holding our own. How's that?
Well, I mean, we do have to say something. We do have to talk about somebody, and everybody thinks I'm full of it anyway. So, but
Hey,
Yeah.
Dixon.
Yes,
Just
ma'am.
happened to turn it on, and I was like, "What they talk about me? God, again?"
wow, you're carrying about I'm looking at you're carrying about a 40% average at super speedway racing. You probably win 4 of 10, so that's worth mentioning.
Just remember that 6th spot behind you is only 8 points away from you.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Oh,
You know what?
Shanner from the peanut section over there.
I can't believe that I didn't see that. Yeah. Rugrat 65 in 6th place, down by 30. Yeah, she's only 6 points behind me in this SST series, and man, this series is tough. There's a lot of factors in these races, and while you may not be one of the fastest drivers out there every week, you're consistent and you stay in there. And I sometimes I get a little over aggressive, and I'll turn my truck over, I'll flip, and it takes quite a while to recover. So I wouldn't be surprised if you finish in front of me in a few of these races and make those points up, maybe even pass me, take over that 5th position. Now, Jim, great to have you in here, man. We was kind of hoping to get to talk to you during the Xfinity segment there, but while we got you in here, it's great to see the way things have been going this season. So many different drivers getting victories and not having very many repeats where you got the same guys winning every race. And it's good to see you get in there and take a victory in that Xfinity series, man. I know you got to love that, being able to get that win. It always feels good to do that. How did your race go Friday night?
Friday night was great. Obviously, thanks to you for the setup help. We came out the week before at Talladega. We dusted off the car and had a lot of fun poked at us because we're a short track team, and finished second at Talladega to you, and by what, 0.06 I believe it was, and then come out the next week and grab the win at Dover, which is basically a short track for you guys, but still a big track for me.
Well, you did a great job, man. I was talking earlier. I don't know if you heard any of what we were saying earlier, but I was talking about that one.
I hope not.
Talking about that one long run we had where you were right behind me, and we were both a few seconds down to the leaders. Managed to run the leaders down, pass them, and then you passed me, took over the lead. I had a good, strong car on Wednesday night, and I was using the exact same setup on Friday night. I was expecting, something similar. I knew I had shared my setup so that, anybody who wanted it would be able to maybe improve on their run a little bit on Friday. But I was still hoping to have a pretty dominant car, and then you took that setup and you ran with it, and you did a great job. You hung with me that whole run and ended up actually being faster than I was at the end. You managed to save your tires a little bit better than I did, and that was a great race. Great job on that victory.
Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely that long run early on there, I think it was like a good 40 lap run. It was a good session to really hit my marks and really learn what the car can do, especially with the tires fading away. And I felt like I didn't have as much fall off towards the end of the run, just because I don't want to say I took it easy in the beginning of the run, but just hitting the marks and not pushing up or anything like that. And the first part of the race, when I first got the lead, I think I had passed Larry, and I got the lead, and coming out of 4, I spun the thing because I drove it too hard, spun it down the front stretch. Luckily, kept it off the inside wall, but that taught me that don't push it too much coming out, and you have enough speed coming into the corner just to let it float and then kind of ease up off of it, and that definitely helped later on in the race.
Yeah, it changes things for sure when you get out in the front in that clean air. As long as you're behind a car, it seems to run a little bit tighter. But as soon as you get in the front and you've got somebody behind you, it definitely loosens that setup, and it will go around on you. But yeah, you recovered from that great, and went on to take the win. So, another new driver added to the Victory Lane Club. Did you hear? Well, you didn't hear it. That's why Pockets was saying, I hope not, because he was talking about, hiding the keys from you and maybe not giving you your passcode to get into the Victory Lane Club.
I just said, in my defense, I said, hey, if we put all this information out there about the Victory Lane Club and everything like that. I'm not going to go track Jim Windrow down to give him his pass key. He's going to have to come by my office, and I'll give it to him. If he doesn't, well, he doesn't.
Well, I guess the only way I could get it if I missed it was just to show up next week and get another win.
Eventually you'd probably find out about it. And I do want everyone to know that Jim is one of those modified drivers, and he's one of the reasons why I say, why modified cars don't have fenders? Because they can't afford to buy that many fenders. But no, good job, Jim, man. Glad to have you, man. You did a great job.
Thank you. No, and I think you're seeing it right now in the Cup Series. Obviously at Daytona and Talladega with Ryan Preece, a modified guy, and those tracks take finesse, and I think coming from a modified, you have to have that finesse, because you can't bump and bang like you do in a late model or just a full body car. You got to take care of your surroundings, and it gives you a little bit more of a finesse feel for a car, and I think that helps out in the full body car.
I can tell you this: there's one person that I can pinpoint that showed me what a modified car is really all about and how the racing really is, and that's our good friend Earl Pelletier. Man, he actually gave me a real good inside view of the world of modified racing, and I was like, wow, because some of those tracks that they go to, it is unbelievable how fast they whip around them tracks. Those little bit larger tracks up there, some of them are they're not just those little teeny tiny tracks. Some of them, and that Wall Stadium is incredible to watch a race at. I mean, that is a fantastic place to watch a race.
Well, that's just I spot for Cameron Sontag on the Modified Racing Series, and it's a NASCAR modified. It's just a different series. We have the same 650 horsepower or 2,650 pounds with 15-inch wide Hoosier tires. When we go to Thompson, we're running an 18-second lap. It's a 18.8, 18.7, but that's a 5/8 mile track. Your average speed of that place is 122. So you got to figure you're doing 100 in the corners and 140 down the straightaways. We go to Stafford, a half-mile track. You do that in 18.5s, 18.6s, 19 seconds. I do have to say the fastest track I've ever been to, obviously besides Loudon, just because of the size of it, but last fall, we went down to the North-South Shoot at Concord Motorsports Park, or Concord Speedway, whatever you want to call it now. But that half-mile track in a modified, we qualified third to John McKennedy and Anthony Nocella, and McKennedy was in Tom Baldwin's modified. We turned a 15.4 around a half-mile track.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
fast. That's
Bristol
fast.
speed.
That's Bristol. That's
That's
Bristol.
Bristol speed.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, and for me as a spotter, that gets hairbally. You know,
You ever-
you guys were running against the big dogs at that race, and qualified third, and we didn't end up too well because Burt Myers and Chuck Hosfeld wrecked each other, and we were right there.
Oh,
We had
Burt
nowhere to
Myers
go.
wrecked somebody. Burt Myers was in a wreck, really?
And I've been to Bristol to watch the race a few times with the modifieds and know the guys, and I mean, I just love modifieds. I grew up in modified country, so I can't not go to a modified race and say that's the best race of the night at that track, because 9 times out of 10 it is.
Well,
Yeah.
we're
Jim, you ever
glad.
do any of the driving schools yourself? Get on the track? Any other tracks?
No, I haven't done any of the driving schools. When I had my mini stock, we ran Thompson, Stafford, Waterford, Monadnock, Lee, Star. I ran Loudon's road course and the oval, the 1 mile oval at Loudon. Ran Speedway 51, which used to be Riverside Speedway in Groveton, New Hampshire. I know there's a couple other ones that we ran that I'm missing, but you get a
Yeah, I
good
was just
variety
asking
of
because
tracks.
I've done the one at Thompson,
Yep.
which was a pretty cool deal.
I'll tell you this. I just started racing. I've never raced Thompson in anything until last year. We did some races at Thompson, and I tell you what, I love racing on that track. We did it in the late models, and I love that track, man. That is a fantastic track in the game. It really is.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize that that's the oldest paved track in all of North America.
Really, I did not know that.
Yeah, it was built right after the hurricane. It opened up, I want to say it was 1940. It opened up, but it was the first paved track in all of North America, because at the time Indy was still all bricks.
Well, there you go.
1940. So what were they racing there at Thompson in 1940?
They had modifieds, they had midgets, they had
They had them coupe looking modifieds, didn't they? They had the coupe
Oh, yeah.
bodies.
yeah, that's
Them cars are bad to the bone. If you've ever seen any of those old pictures of those coupes, it's just like they basically cut the front of the car off and the rest of it and got in it and raced it.
You know, that's something to go and look up. I'm sure, as popular as all kinds of stuff you can find on YouTube. I'm going to have to go and look and do a search for that, because that'd be something interesting to watch. Would be a 1940s era modified race at Thompson. Yeah, I would love to see that and see what those cars were like and how they were running back in the 40s.
And I'll tell you something else real
How
quick
dangerous
here.
they were.
Yeah, I'll tell you something else real quick, and Jim, you'll probably be able to back me up on this or correct me if I'm wrong. But I've been saying for the last at least 2 years that with the shape that the big money NASCAR is in, the best racing that you're gonna see is at places where guys, they're out there racing for the love of the sport. The guys that have a 9-to-5 job, go home, get a bologna sandwich and eat it over the fender, over where the fenders should be on one of those modified cars, and they get out there every Friday and Saturday night and they race for the love of the game. And I would expect that the attendance at these local tracks at places like that has got to be increasing, because that is where the good, honest, hard working racing is, in my opinion. That and the dirt tracks located all over this country.
absolutely. I mean, Thompson
hometown
really
tracks.
Yeah, Thompson really cut back their schedule a few years ago when they redid the road course there. They do a lot more club car racing. The grandsons of the owner, that's the way they want to go. They feel they make more money that way. But if you go to a Stafford Motor Speedway on a Friday night, the SK Modifieds, it's just a small block. it's the same chassis as a tour type car that you see. They pulled this past Saturday night. They ran a Saturday night show. They pulled 33 SK modifieds, and they only start 27. So they even had a consi and sent people home. The SK Lights, which is what Earl ran, same thing. They had 34. They only start 27, so they sent people home. You have right there. You have almost 75 modifieds or 65 modifieds showing up to a weekly track for 2 divisions.
And also, there are quite a few great female drivers in the modified series that get out there and get after it right there with the guys, just like they do. Is that not correct?
No, that's correct. Well, that's like Brian Priest. I mean, they had a segment on him this past weekend, and he talked about his wife Heather. That's where they met. They met at Stafford. Actually, Earl worked with Heather a little bit, and then when Priest drove the car that Earl kind of helped on, that Steve Greer owned, they got them together basically. So I guess you could call Earl a matchmaker as well.
Absolutely. That Earl, man, he is a great guy. He really is. Everybody at the track always called him Earl the Pearl. I always call him Earl the Hammer Pelletier because, boy, he could hammer a race car. I tell you that. He could get on it.
Him and his brother, they're wicked great people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Well, it's been another great week of racing. It's been another great edition of the Spotter Stand. We appreciate all you guys who joined and watched live, and we definitely appreciate BSR Pockets, BSR Hot Rod for all the great input that they give us every week. And special thanks to Jim Windrow and BSR SS Joba for joining us here in the booth. It was good to have you guys in, and it's always great to have some extra voices in here giving a little extra input. We'd like to say thanks to everybody. We're going to wrap it up, call it a week, and we'll see you guys on the track tomorrow night at Kansas.
Yeah.
Holla.